history. Hizo stories are history, or perhaps not the Gen Zs. Maybe the current government has at some point said we are talking about history and all that, but we just understand how critical history is.
But if you cannot forget your history, because like the Gen Z and the youth-led protests today, in part of the reason why you have all these freedoms, even the social media, freedom of speech, association, expression, is partially because of the Saba, it's partially because of the Section 2A. The countries in Africa, which are still one party, and it's because the fathers of Gen Z in those parts of the world did not venture to go out and correct these things. It's only that because some of these subjects become very sensitive that we can't give out the names. But you know, Kenya is stands out in the region and probably in the world. We are an envy that wherever there is a policy intervention proposed by the administration, if Kenyans don't like it, they will pronounce themselves in black and white. In most parts of Africa and the world,
you don't get
this thing doesn't happen. It's only in Kenya when a president does something, you go to the High Court and you stop him. Like right now, I've seen somebody is going to the High Court to stop the construction of the church at State House.
And that's the reason why we need to have Rev back.
Some of these things only happen in Kenya. Well, it doesn't mean that because they only happen in Kenya that we can sit back. No, because you are a human being, you want to exercise your democracy, you want to exercise your economic rights, so you must be given the opportunity. Not you must be given the opportunity, you must exploit your talent. You must go to the hilt, because we cannot allow a few leaders, especially political leaders, who become very cunning, and then because they want to maintain their hold in power, or they want to go into power, or they want to blackmail the state, then they use the demonstrations as a special purpose vehicle, maybe to settle personal scores. We need to use mandamanos to advance Kenya's national and public interests. Because they're part of the government who are claiming that these mandamanos are no longer generic, that there are some politicians who are inviting goons and criminal elements, suggesting that there may be some powerful and prominent personalities using mandamanos to settle the political scores. But if that be the case, then the state using the intelligence infrastructure must speak out those people, because there's a risk that people will start having a phobia for mandamanos or negative feelings, or there may even be mandamano fatigue. So that because these mandamanos, when they're taking place, they start on a good path, then they're infiltrated, then there's destruction of lives and properties, then at some stage people may develop the fatigue. They say, maybe we don't need the mandamanos. We cannot allow people to have a phobia, people to start rejecting, or people to start rejecting mandamanos. We must do mandamanos in a manner that town doesn't come to a standstill, that it's not equivalent to a public holiday. Like for instance, now there are jokes on social media that Gen Z has declared a public holiday and the law enforcement officers are enforcing it. So this is something that we cannot accept, because it even negates the reason why Gen Zs are fighting, because they want economic opportunities. But if the economy comes to a standstill, then are you going to benefit from the economic opportunities? And there's even a conversation that maybe it's time we started looking at Kenya, and maybe using the example of Tanzania, that you have the commercial capital in Dar, then you have the political capital maybe in Dodoma, or the case of Lagos in Nigeria and Abuja, that if you want to have the political demonstrations, then you go to Dodoma, maybe we'll pick a town in Kenya, where if you want to have political demonstrations, you go there, so that you don't interfere with the business in the commercial capital. But again, people would argue that the main reason of having demonstrations and protests is to make a statement, and the statement is made by stopping business. So that if you go to do a demonstration in the middle of a desert, the only thing you may need to carry is water, but the impact will not be as much.
And you see, they have said that the capital city should have sat in Isiolo. Well, I mean, but do you think it would have been wise, or it is wise, for the president to be the person addressing the nation? Because I know this is Raila Odinga addressing the press, but you know definitely when you're addressing the press, this is meant to go to the people. Is it necessary for the president to speak to his people at this time?
Absolutely, I would think so, because you see, he's the head of